Hello guys and welcome back to Field of Glory Empires. We just got out of a war with Arabia. We attacked them for the first time ever and we've taken 3 more territories from them. Finally forming a new province of Saracena here, which they had formed. We took it away from them. Now, I don't know if they have a fully formed province at all. They're getting weaker and weaker. We're being able to fight them more and more. Getting more armies going, but we need to wait for some more manpower and other things to come in. We have a planned attack, as well as some other things that we have going on. We're definitely waiting on some more manpower to come in. We have a 3rd army that's almost ready to go, and we do need to build up all of our armies to be just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. But we've pretty much done this whole turn last episode, so let's go ahead and hit end turn. Bring it into the next year, 239 BC, and see what happens. Ethiopia is still dominating Nubia, because, you know, Nubia got into too many wars at once. Looks like Blemmyes kind of started losing what they were doing. We did move ahead into this rebel territory. This rebelled from Arabia in between our last 2 wars. And there's 20 units defending this. We have 20 units. Ours are better. So that's pretty good. A frontage of 8. Good. This is like exactly what my armies are built for. Of like 8 frontage things. But I know there's some battles that can have more than 8 frontage. So something we've got to keep our eye on. You have almost no skirmishers. Oh. Well. Or maybe you... No, you... maybe you... I don't know, actually. That's weird. Anyway. We're going on the offensive. Elephants are surviving. It's always good when elephants survive. Cameliers clashing. Nothing definitive there. They have a lot of regular infantry on the front, but the elephants are so offensive that, you know, they're just slaughtering them. That's good. Once again, skirmishers not doing the best, but we go in a pursuit because we did so well, killing more of their units, and we won the battle. And since this is an independent force, that means they just kind of get deleted, and we've taken the location. A former Arabian territory that they lost and failed to retake, now taken by us in their moment of weakness. And there you go. Perfect. I will take that. This was one of their more valuable locations, having now an abandoned palace, adding to legacy and decadence for a while. Requires 500 population or more. That's weird. That's probably just to get it to kind of decon itself eventually. And a governor's palace. This is a provincial capital. But I don't have the province. The province isn't made. There's 2 more things to the province, so it's funny that this governor's palace is here. I don't know how that will maintain itself, because this province isn't formed. At least not for us. This has been a conquest target for us for a while. Also, Arabia's trying to raid us, but they were defeated in their raid, so that's good. Curious what they'll do with all these extra troops now. Maybe get rid of some, maybe use some, I don't know. Palmyra, oh man, this used to be really tiny. It's not anymore. They are doing a lot better. Look at these guys. Cooperation with the Antigonids. War with Arabia. Oh, that's new. That's new. I wonder if we can cooperate, Palmyra. I'll propose that to them. They actually would consider it from me. That's good. There's a lot more of these little nations that are starting to balloon up. There's a lot of fighting here between Egypt and them. Egypt definitely making a counterattack against these guys here. Ethiopia seems to be doing okay. Oh, wait, never mind. There's a lot of Egyptians that showed up to beat up the Ethiopians. Yeah, Egypt is still scary, and that's why we want to get stronger. We have to be able to eventually stand up to the heirs of Alexander if we want to break out of here, at least one of them. Oh my god, Carthage usurper. That's kind of terrifying. Carthage usurper. Quite terrifying indeed. Rome's been expanding into Illyria. The Etruscans are still alive. That's interesting. But, yep, we conquered this. We got a progress token from taking that over, and when you take over an objective, it lowers your age, which helps with our progress decadence ratio, which is good. And we're positive. I mean, we're like 1 or 2 away. I think just 1 away from getting the Empire Golden Age, which is going to be good for culture and taxation, but not good for our decadence. Not good at all. The raid was defeated. A new objective has been set in the middle of Egypt. Wow, dude. And we added a feast day to the calendar. Not something that I necessarily care about. Plus 31 on manpower generation. I'm going to go ahead and recruit the remaining 4 skirmishers that we need. That will bring us down to 36 manpower total. But that's some good recovery. We didn't lose anything on any of these attacks. This army is still really weird because, again, it's like mostly elephants. So we don't really have much of any siege potential here. Eventually, these would need to be replaced. They'll die eventually, but they were just pretty cost effective for me. They still are. And if they all died, it would be cost effective to put them in another location. Money, we need to move. Okay, let's see. So put all the slaves up into food. Put all of you guys into infrastructure. The rest of this stuff can just stay as it is. Even if this is a provincial capital, we I don't think we have the province, so I feel like that will change. We do need to build stuff here. We do have 2 slots available. The easiest thing to build is an anchorage, but that's not exactly amazing. We mostly need the just conquered penalty to go away, and then this place will do a heck of a lot better. We'll get started on the anchorage because it's the only thing that's remotely feasible to make, like, at all. So, sure, why not? After that battle, we got another slave over here in Mafonite. Most of everybody is just working on this stuff right now, on food. I'll move one guy off of food to infrastructure, which I know I had already moved a guy off of. I'll move one guy from food onto culture as well, because again, we want to increase on culture, that's for sure. This is part of Arabia Felix proper. So don't have to stress too much over here when it comes to infrastructure. We finished building the street parlor there. There's not more room to really build anything else. We need more population before that can change. Building the warehouse here will add more infrastructure to this zone. Building food here seems like an obvious thing. We're about to grow a pop, so I'm going to send one down to culture, even if it is just a very small amount. Because again, we're at this point where culture is just very, very important. Infrastructure was added. Ranch has been completed. That's more food for everybody around here. That is only a good thing. Means we can move another guy. Just get him onto like money for now or whatever. It's not a big deal. A guard tower or a public works, both of these would be very useful to me here. I'll prioritize the guard tower, I guess. It's at sea, so it could be raided if any pirates appear. This could potentially help with that. I really like getting defensive buildings when they rear their heads. We finished building the charcoal pile, which will add some infrastructure, a little bit of money. That's nice. Maybe not the most important thing, but nice. We have a lot more slots that we can use here, so not too worried about that. Loyalty is definitely not something we need. The wheelmaker can work pretty well here due to the amount of lumber that we have access to. So we could go for that, but, you know, food could also be very useful. And this produces cattle, which then can be used on other things. It's hard to say which one of these we should have. I think I'll take food because we just don't have anything for food here at all. Add a new population here, which doesn't change a whole lot. You know, there's food. Like, okay. I could put one guy on money here. I could put one guy on money here. No, we need that for food. This is why we need food. This is why we need food. I like to spread my guys out at least a little bit as soon as I can. An herbalist has been completed here, adding health and some manpower. That would be good. We could very easily get some other stuff here. We have building slots, 3 of 7. There's a public works here. That would be pretty nice to get. That would help infrastructure quite a bit. Let's get this slave up here and get the citizens working infrastructure specifically, because the citizens will be more productive overall, and this will just be more efficient. It's set to have absolutely no growth at the moment. I don't know why. That's kind of weird. It's fine, because we're building so many other buildings here that make food in this province anyway. I need to do it like that. I could just hover over this. This is way more noticeable anyway. But in that province, we're building way more, which is nice. Nice, I suppose. Definitely nice. So, I still don't know. Eventually, I really don't know what to do with these normal cameleers. I just have them from the beginning. I still don't understand how the provincial cameleers are better, but it says they are, so I just kind of build them, especially because money is no issue. We don't want to stay up here where food isn't going to be too amazing anyway. We want to go back somewhere like to Arabia Felix, where we can actually sustain these big fat elephants. And this army is going to build pretty well. Pretty well. We do need a different kind of unit. If I wanted to add more, I would get it from over here. I could barely add these to the queue successfully. I think I will. The Arabian Cameleers that can join this squad, and this can be the first one that gets up to that bigger cavalry limit using our skirmisher Cameleer cavalry. and I could do something with them. They might be able to, like, go overseas or something. Once we get up to 22, again, we might start looking at a navy or something. I'm not really sure. I'm going to offer cooperation to Maria. I think I might have, like, interrupted it. I don't know. It said war for some reason. So that concerned me. Aracosias like me more and more, but they are just, like, a puppet of Maria. Anyway. Wish I could see everything that I was doing here, because I don't know. Like, am I accidentally declaring wars? Have I accidentally clicked that on some nations? I don't know. I don't know, but it shouldn't matter too much. I know I'm offering a transaction to Palmyra. Some of these other really tiny nations, I don't really plan to interact with until I see them start getting bigger anyway. And when they border me. Arabia now suddenly being at war with Palmyra is quite interesting. If they do poorly, that will definitely be interesting. Hopefully, Palmyra just doesn't take anything in Saracena. I would like to take the rest of that, plus their capital would be pretty nice to get my hands on. So we're moving away from the war zone, back to places where we have food. It would be nice if there would be ways to route food from the back to the front. I mean, that's something that Rome had to do. But maybe it's unique that Rome was so good at that, but that's something things like Imperator and this game lack, is the ability to actually use money to move food to get it where you need it, which was something that Rome had to do to maintain its legions and its campaigns. And yeah, it is just kind of sad that we can't really do that here. Regardless, that seems to be everything we can do for this turn. So let's go ahead and hit and turn and see what we have in the next turn. Well, we got a progress token, so we're now the second glorious empire, like, gold here. We're number 3, only Rome and Macedonia is ahead of us, and just barely in terms of legacy, so this is quite interesting. Religious ceremony, always just refresh the feasts. Slave markets refreshed itself as well. We've entered a golden age, so this is kind of terrifying. This is kind of terrifying. We now have the Empire Golden Age, so culture, 25% bonus. Tax, 50% bonus. Bonus 10% of 10 XP whenever unit is created. We can conquer things very easily. Decadence won't be too high, but decadence in general is being produced passively by buildings and whatnot. And nation size, 50% more. And this is the kind of thing we're going to have to sustain, because we're probably going to hit this repeatedly over and over again. It's going to cycle through again and again, unless we start going backwards towards an old empire. Which, honestly, well, we wouldn't want these debuffs. We definitely wouldn't. But actually, they wouldn't be too bad. They wouldn't be too bad. There's a lot worse if you're a decadent one, for example. At least our age would go down, right? Age isn't too much of a problem right now. We're doing very well for legacy. I mean, as far as things going, we're almost set to be the winner by the end. Of course, there's still a couple hundred years before this is over. It ends at like 190 AD or something. We're still in BC. Yes, it ends specifically in 190 AD. So we have hundreds of years remaining. That's a nice expansive timeline. Definitely feels less short than Imperator. Maria once again rejected our offer for some reason. Well, because it's a low chance, that's why. We defeated enemy raiders over here. Might have been our troops that were there. Might have just been the sitting garrison. I'm not sure, but it's good that we did that. A general died in his bed. Last breath wished for the leader to restore his nation to greatness. That is a general that we don't actually use, so it doesn't really matter. A new objective has been declared all the way up here, Judea. Wow. You got some special buildings there. A ruined Solomon temple. Oof. If Judah regained independence, could it be rebuilt? Interesting. World wonder. Culture and legacy, though, if you own it. Yep, so we got all that. And we might look at getting some slaves sometime soon. I've been just moving slaves around for the most part, but we definitely have the option to branch out here. I'm going to move this citizen right here down to culture. Because again, we need more culture. We need more and more culture recently. Got a new population in this region. Food is starting to look better. There's supposed to be even more growth because there's just so much food here. Guess it wasn't growing when the independents owned it. That's quite interesting. This anchorage will actually be done very soon all of a sudden. I'll still let that finish. That's not too bad. I could move a guy to culture. I could move a citizen to culture. Or I could move him to infrastructure for right now just to get stuff building more. That didn't make a whole lot of a difference, honestly. That didn't make a big difference at all. I might still leave him there. Or we could just go for the culture because, you know, culture is culture. Culture is good. Even that. Oh, no, that made a little bit of a difference. Well, we don't really need money at the moment, so just leave the slaves on food. Leave these citizens here. That's fine. That's okay. I'll take the anchorage. Let that build. The palisade, or the city walls, actually, still building here. I'll move this guy off money, but move him back to infrastructure. It makes a pretty big difference, and I don't really need the money. It's kind of be the same situation over here in general. There's just some places where we really don't need any attention to the money in general. I'm just kind of feeling it out as we go. Alright, so these two Cameliers are out and they're ready. They were a little bit more expensive than usual, and now at this point there's 6 of them built. It would be even more expensive. This kind of scales up infinitely in how much it costs money-wise to make new ones, but shrug. It's whatever. We also have access to the Saracen cavalry, although we have like no spare manpower at the moment. We have a generation of 25. Metal is constantly on the decline, but sometimes it goes positive. It's kind of weird. Every one of these Cameliers are going to consume more metal, by the way, which would actually limit our capability to build a navy, unfortunately. A school has been completed over here. That was a really interesting one, I remember. Yeah, and it reduces decadence. So actually, look at this. Yeah, decadence is going to improve here by a teeny tiny bit every single turn. This is the only thing here that reduces decadence. That's good, and it adds to culture as well, which is very, very nice. And this is something that's in this wider region as well. I'll take another citizen, and we'll move him over to culture, because culture is just that important right now. And I can get a wheel maker here for more infrastructure. Right now, the infrastructure seems to be struggling a little bit. It would consume our only available slot, however. Yeah, it would, but it's not terrible. And, you know, we have lumber locally, so yeah, sure, that seems like a good thing to build. There's a gymnasium built over here. That's done. Can't build anything over there at the moment. We finished building the warehouse over here, adding to the local infrastructure. That's pretty good. And now there's a bunch of other things we could build. We still don't have a brickwork here. That's interesting. 4 slots currently available. We could go for a loyalty bonus that adds some culture. We could go for a market, a castrum equitarium. Skirmisher cavalry training applies to specific cavalries. That would be nice, I guess. Not really like uber important or anything. Infrastructure is just one of the most important things here in general, I'd say, but we can also add to food. We're missing access to figs and nuts and seeds, but an orchard could produce a lot of food here. Hard to say, really, actually. I think in this location, I really do just like to prioritize the infrastructure when possible. I really do. I really, really do. Just because of the dam. And the dam kind of provides a lot of this other stuff we need, like culture, legacy, food, and health. So I think I'll make the brickwork here. We have everything that we would otherwise need for it. So sure, give me that infrastructure bonus in the capital, the brickwork. That'll do pretty well. Infrastructure is definitely going up and up and up over here in these regions. I'm going to take one of these citizens, move him down to culture, off of food. And then I don't think we'll need a lot of excess infrastructure in that region, so we can kind of leave that be. That's fine for now. And same thing with a lot of these other places. Do we really need you here? No, I'll move that guy back up, especially because I think, you know, we're getting some infrastructure there. It's fine. This citizen as well. I'll move you. Move the slightly unhappier one down to culture, and then move you up to food. 14 infrastructure, that's fine enough, especially with how much infrastructure we're starting to get in buildings, and also most especially on the capital in this region. And how are you doing? Your effectiveness is exactly, you know, where I would want it to be. I could use this to take over this spot, although our chances of actually owning this whole thing are little to none. I'm going to change the name of our original army here to Saracen. I'm going to base it out of kind of that province. That's how we're going to handle that in the long run. I'll probably end up dispersing these Cameliers eventually in favor of 6 of the Saracens and just using these Cameliers for whatever the next one is in general, I suppose. I don't know, just as a base thing because they're already built and whatnot. Just some sort of easier thing, or maybe as a backup. I don't know. I might also only give, say, like 4 Saracen units. I'm not sure. I might probably just get them all while they're fresh, to be fair. That's probably how I'll realistically do it. And then maybe I could just dump all the normal ones into this group, even though that would be kind of weird. It would certainly be expansive for the front. And this is already a very weird army. This is very strange. It's not exactly for sieging anyway, so wouldn't be too problematic. I could take this over. It wouldn't be exceptionally beneficial to me, but it wouldn't be terrible either. And more land right now, while it would increase our decadence in general, it could also help me get the resources required to keep expanding. We don't have any loss of effectiveness at the moment, and this would be pretty easy to take over. Well, easy. It's got 11 defending units. It's been building up. These kind of like build up over time, and then they grow an army, and then they go attack places. Kind of crazy. They do build up. It is quite interesting. So we'll go ahead and we will attack that, try to take it over. These guys are moving to where it's maybe a bit safer. Over here, we wouldn't be able to get very much if we expanded down this way. Not sure if it's worth it. There is only 7 turns, which I think actually means 8 because it counts down all the way to 0 until we can go to war with Ethiopia again. And I don't want to get too distracted on that. I mainly need sieging units ready to go on the front at any given time. Down here, if I did want to go on the attack, sieging units honestly wouldn't be necessary. The goddamn Ethiopians still haven't built a port from what I'm aware of to open up from trade. Maybe they have, and I just haven't noticed. But, like, I have a trade deficit. I know that, and I don't think I'm trading with my ally because they haven't built a port anywhere. They just keep building health and food. Which, I mean, sure, go ahead and do that, but, like, damn. They have some pretty big loyalty debuffs. Yeah, oh, I wonder why, because it's mostly slaves. This is why I'm a little cautious on how many slaves I take. Rome has spent over half of its money, which is crazy. One thing I need to get eventually is a mercenary location. That would be probably one of the best things I could spend my money on. It's just a sudden influx of mercenaries because they don't use manpower, they use money. And I'm pushing my manpower to the brink already. You know what I'm not pushing to the brink? My money. Money just keeps getting better, even though I, at most, usually assign 1 citizen to it, and a lot of times I skimp on it, and I don't build a lot of things to increase it, because we're just doing that well in money with our current situation, so that's just something to think about. I don't really feel like expanding my slaves still. Look at my loyalty colorings. Well, under pacification is getting better. We are getting better, much better over time, slave to citizen ratios. Buying 4 more slaves might not be super terrible. Especially because we're making 506 money a turn. By the time the decision comes back, we would have made back all the money that we would have spent. Definitely we could do that. And then we would probably just disperse them again. It's been a long time. 1,000 money? Yeah, sure. Give me 4 slave pops. It's been a bit of time. And did we go ahead and repropose this? We did. I'm not sure why this shows war. I know I didn't select war. I selected a transaction. It just shows that when you have something in progress, which is weird. I don't know why, but we can just ignore that, I guess. Your land may be populated with peasants, but they could be assembled in a sizable army. We hope you have no such intention. What are you talking about, Palmyra? Wow, Palmyra and Maria get along. I guess because they're just very anti-Seleucids, so naturally they get along. I only don't get along with Arabia. Palmyra doesn't get along with Arabia because they're at war, but most others don't care. Over here, the Antigonids don't get along with Arabia. They do get along with Macedonia and Maria. Maybe this could be a friend of ours eventually. We're too far away, so can't really talk to them much at the moment. However, that is some expansion of units going on, waiting on manpower otherwise, moving here. I might move further south, just like as south as I can get for right now, just with the idea that we could go and expand over here, but I'm still really not certain about if we will. Moving up and down won't be too bad. Again, like 7 turns, 8, until we're able to go to war with Arabia again. We don't want to go to war with Nabatea, which, oh, that just got absorbed by Egypt entirely. So I could at some point find myself at war with Egypt. I don't think they get along with Arabia, right? I wouldn't really want to try to do that. The armies will be here. They'll be ready. I don't want to go to war with Egypt. That doesn't make me very happy, because even if they're not doing as amazing as they used to, compared to me, like my land power keeps going up and up and up, they're still one of the strongest powers that there are. And if I have trouble dealing with the Arabians, just pulling up some units, then yeah, I'm going to have trouble dealing with Egypt as well. Blemis is willing to try to get a cooperation with me again. They don't distrust me anymore. So I'll try, because, you know, it's preparation to, like, go after Egypt one day. If Egypt's at war with so many dudes, that would help. Arabia's always usually just been able to focus on me. Palmyra did push into Arabia a little bit this turn, and Egypt's having some success down here, which is maybe not good for us. Egypt doing well, especially against Ethiopia, is definitely not good. But, you know, I have my priorities right now. Alright, so we moved in on the attack, a hit and turn, and this should be a pretty easy battle. Some warriors, skirmishers, light cavalry, and urban militia. The skirmishing of those urban militia is quite interesting. They, like, do it from the rear already? I guess because they're melee first. But we're just slaughtering them on the front without much big issue. The skirmishers supporting our guys, working well. Oh, you know what I realized as well, too? My skirmisher cavalry that, like, I'm adding 2 more of because I actually need that to maintain a full front in these desert locations. They don't have their own skirmishers to support them either way. So, in addition to the 2 more that I would make, I could have 2 more of either normal skirmishers or skirmisher cavalry still. Or, you know, normal cavalry at some point. Like, I could have 2 guaranteed normal cavalry to just do better. Because the skirmishers, the skirmish cavalry themselves could use support. I feel like skirmishers would actually be the most appropriate idea there. But it would be so nichely used as well. Skirmishers would be the cheapest thing to do, for sure. Slightly better cavalry at flanking would definitely be useful as well. I don't know. I don't want to go, like, too crazy into, like, having half of my army or a third of it just be cameleers. They are versatile, which is kind of why I'm choosing them. And, you know, they're kind of unique to us, in a way, in these deserts. So I'm taking advantage of them when I can, where I can. If I played a different nation, I probably wouldn't be making these same decisions, but hey, it is what it is. No new progress tokens. Yeah, in this current state of decadence gain, our rankings going down, which we want to be careful of because we're getting down to the bottom of the list of the greens here, and that's why I'm putting more and more stuff into culture generation. Local forces here fended off a raid by Arabia. They keep trying to raid, man. There's a new pop over here. That's good. A new citizen. I'll put that on infrastructure to speed up building here. Because, I mean, we could use that. Or I could put it on money. Spread that out. Either way, Anchorage is going to be done in 1 turn. So, that's pretty good. Maria rejected our offer. Palmyra rejected our offer. We conquered this location. Crushed invaders. Another place was raided, but we crushed the invaders. A new general is available. New objective has been set in Egypt. And a new feast day on the calendar. Alright. That's a nice turn, wrapping up. We're getting bigger and stronger. It's definitely getting difficult to manage now that we're like a massive, glorious empire skyrocketing in decadence. However, that's all we have time for this episode. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.